I'm gonna teach you how to make this tomato in less than 3 minutes. So let's come on, let's go. And these are all default brushes, so you have no excuses now. Okay, start off by adding some shadows around the sides and making some extra details over the base shape. Okay, now you can start by adding some extra colors on top, a darker orange in this case, and I'm using it to block out the different parts of the tomato. You will have some highlighted orangey bits on top and then a bit more darker, redder bits at the bottom. And then you can also go ahead with an even deeper red to make the base look more interesting and more 3D and more rounded in that way. I used the smudge tool to mix the color around a bit, and now I'm going with a darker orange and adding shadows around the different protruding areas of the tomato. Okay, next thing we're going to do is use a lighter shade of yellow. Make sure the opacity is low throughout this whole process. The only time you want the opacity to be high is when you're putting the base color. Then make sure you add the highlights at the right places. We're just copying an image, so don't worry, we're not being too crazy. We're just trying to learn how to put colors in the right place. So add your highlighted bits where everything is right. I'm going with the yellow color first, and then on top of it I will add the white later on. Now I'm going to add the stem, so I know that so basically what I'm using the stem is to see if I've blocked everything the right way or not. And I'm using really bright green color, which I will change, don't worry, later on. It's just sort of blocking. This is why digital art is really amazing in that way. So once you have blocked on your stem, your leaves and whatever, make sure you can resize it if it's too small, and now add the highlighted, the darker bits to make sure to add the shape around the leaves and the stem to differentiate it. Also add the shadowy bits on the tomato because they will leave a shadow, and I'm adding more shadows around the edges of the tomato as well to make it look a bit more 3D-esque, I guess. Now next thing I'm going to do, that's what I said, I'm going to add the white highlights on top just like that. If you want to add more highlights you can. I'm using dotted tool to dot on some of the intricacies of a tomato, but there's also a stamp tool which is default, which is free, so just use that. And I use that later on as well to just add these dot around the tomato, and that makes it look pretty interesting from what I like it. Make sure when you add your stem you add some different colors as well, just like how I told you. And now I'm going to add some shadowy colors, which is a blue hue highlight on the base of the tomato, because I'm also going to add a background to it and going to add a shadowy part on it. So this is where I add the shadow background, which is a bit more yellowy on the side, and I've added a blue darker shadow. I'm going to add a bit more color to it and make, as you can see, the base has a bit more blue, and on the edge of the tomato I've added really bright red highlight and then a bit of yellow to help transition to the blue a bit better.